Imagine standing on just like a single street corner. And if you turn your head to the left, you're looking at this intricate timber-framed architecture from the 15th century Ottoman Empire. You can almost smell the roasting coffee and hear the hammered copper.
Oh, absolutely. It's so vivid.
Right. But then if you just turn your head to the right, you're looking at the exact patch of pavement where, a single gunshot in 1914 triggered the First World War.
Yeah, it is this profound spatial compression of history. You are quite literally standing at the intersection of empires.
And that intersection is exactly where we're taking you today. So welcome in, and a massive thank you to you, our listener, for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you for being here.
You always bring us the most fascinating curiosities, but the stack of sources you provided for us this time, truly exceptional.
Oh, yeah. Mind-blowing, honestly.
We're looking at a collection of 2026 travel guides, a brilliant historical essay on a legendary film festival, a deep dive into local craft beer and nightlife, and an overview of these towering Olympic mountains.
It's quite the mix.
It really is. So our mission today is to just sort of synthesize all of this and explore a city that defies, every easy categorization. We are talking about Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
And, jumping right into it, what stands out immediately in these materials is how topography basically dictates destiny.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, to understand Sarajevo, you first have to understand its physical geography. The city sits in this long, narrow valley surrounded by the Dinaric Alps, and you've got the Miljacka River running right down the middle.
Right, so it's very constrained.
Exactly. Because of this really steep, bowl-like geography, the city just couldn't sprawl outward. It had to build inward. So it's layering century upon century, empire upon empire, into a very tight, linear corridor.
You feel that density, like the very second you step into the Bacharija, which is the city's old town. The sources describe this area not just as, historic district, but really the enduring cultural engine of the city.
Yeah, laid out right during the 15th century Ottoman expansion.
Exactly. And it wasn't built haphazardly either. The streets were designed by trade. So one street is dedicated entirely to coppersmiths, another to blacksmiths, another to shoemakers.
It's so organized.
Right. And walking through there today, the guides say you still hear the rhythmic tapping of artisans shaping that intricate copperware. It's just wild that it's still so active.
And right in the center of that maze, you have the Sibyl's, right?
Yes, the Sibyl's. It's this ornate, dome-roofed wooden fountain. And the local legend attached to it is just fantastic. It says that if you drink the water from this fountain, you are magically bound to return to Sarajevo.
I love that. It's a beautiful piece of folklore, and I think it really speaks to the hospitality that's just embedded in the city's origins.
No, absolutely.
And that hospitality is physically preserved just steps away at the Morchahan.
The caravanserai, right?
Yes, the very last remaining Ottoman-era caravanserai in Sarajevo. Historically, these were massive fortified roadside inns built around a central courtyard.
Basically a hotel for merchants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Designed to offer safe harbor for traveling merchants, their pack animals, their goods. It was the crucial infrastructure that made east-west trade even possible.
Wow.
And today, that central courtyard is this beautifully shaded gathering place where people still sit for hours, just drinking traditional Bosnian coffee.
But then, the architecture shifts just completely dramatically the moment you walk a few blocks west. Because the Austro-Hungarian Empire took control in the late 19th century. And they didn't just build new structures, they engineered an entirely new aesthetic.
They really did.
Our sources highlight the city hall, known as Vijenčka, and it's built in this massive, striking pseudo-Moorish style. Which I have to ask, why did the Austro-Hungarians build something that looks like it belongs in, say, Islamic Spain, right in the middle of the Balkans?
Well, it was a very deliberate, highly political architectural choice. The Austro-Hungarians wanted to integrate their new Muslim subjects into a European empire.
Oh.
So by using the pseudo-Moorish style, which, borrows the horseshoe arches and intricate geometric patterns of Islamic architecture, but applying them to these massive European-scale civic buildings, they were trying to create a distinct Bosnian identity.
Like making it feel familiar but different.
Exactly. Familiar to the locals, yet severed from the Ottoman Empire. And you see this incredible visual friction when you compare Vijenčka to something like Sverzo's house.
Oh, right, the traditional home.
Yeah, a perfectly preserved 18th century Muslim family home built entirely around privacy, quiet courtyards, and separated living quarters. It's a stark contrast.
And honestly, that architectural friction is nothing compared to the religious density in the city.
Oh, it's unparalleled.
I mean, within a radius of just a few hundred meters, you have the Gazi Huzrev Beg Mosque, which is an absolute masterpiece of 16th century Islamic design. Literally around the corner is the Sacred Heart Cathedral, this imposing neo-Gothic Catholic church.
Yeah, and then
walk a minute further. You hit the massive Neo-Byzantine Orthodox Cathedral, and then the Ashkenazi Synagogue. The sources refer to this footprint as the Jerusalem of Europe.
which is such a powerful title.
It is. But I have to ask you, is that just like a convenient tourism tagline? Does having these four massive religious structures physically rubbing shoulders actually shape the psychology of the people living there? Or is it just a quirk of city planning?
No, it fundamentally rewrites the acoustic and social ecology of the city.
The acoustic ecology, what do you mean?
Think about how sound travels in a narrow valley. For centuries, the Islamic call to prayer from the minarets has mingled in the exact same air with the ringing of Catholic and Orthodox church bells.
Oh, wow. I hadn't thought about the sound.
Yeah, generation after generation grew up in that shared acoustic space. It creates a deeply ingrained baseline of neighborliness. It fosters this shared civic pride where residents recognize that all these structures, regardless of their own personal faith, just belong to the collective identity of Sarajevo.
That's beautiful. But, history shows us that this interwoven identity has been subjected to unimaginable pressure over the years.
Yes, absolutely.
Because the city is so geographically compressed, its history is written directly into the pavement, which brings us back to the Latin Bridge.
Right. The Latin Bridge is the small, picturesque, Ottoman-era stone bridge crossing the Miljacka River.
It looks so peaceful in the photos.
It does. But because the streets around it create a natural bottleneck, it became the exact location where Archduke Franz Ferdinand's motorcade stalled in 1914.
Just a terrible coincidence of urban planning.
Exactly, and that allowed the assassin to take the shot that ignited World War I. You can stand there today, look at the water, and realize you are occupying the precise epicenter of 20th century history.
And unfortunately, the 20th century left much deeper, far more recent scars on that exact same geography. The travel guides we read dedicate significant space to the 1992 to 1996 Siege of Sarajevo.
A profoundly dark period.
Because the city sits in that valley surrounded by mountains. It was incredibly vulnerable when forces surrounded it. It was completely cut off from the world. No food, no electricity, just constant bombardment. And the response from the citizens was this incredible feat of physical endurance, the tunnel of hope.
The logistics of that tunnel are staggering. I mean, because the city was surrounded, the only neutral territory was the airport, which was controlled by the UN.
Right.
So the citizens of Sarajevo secretly dug a tunnel entirely by hand.
Entirely by hand.
Yes, using picks and shovels right under the active airport runway to connect the besieged city to the outside world. It was about 800 meters long, just over a meter wide, and barely tall enough to even stand in.
The sources describe people wading through, like knee-deep water, carrying 50-kilo backpacks of flour, medicine, and fuel through this tiny underground vein.
It was literally the physical lifeline of the city.
Today, you can visit a museum housed in the very home where the tunnel entrance was hidden, and you can walk through a preserved section of it. But, and this is what really struck me, the memorials that hit hardest aren't hidden underground. They're right out in the open.
You're talking about the Sarajevo Roses.
Yes, the Sarajevo Roses.
Right. So during the siege, the city was hit by hundreds of thousands of mortar shells. When a mortar round impacts concrete, it doesn't just make a hole. The fragmentation creates this distinct, star-like crater that eerily resembles a flower.
Like a rose.
Exactly. And after the siege ended, rather than just paving over all the damaged sidewalks, the citizens decided to fill many of those craters with a bright red resin.
And I have to stop you there and really push back on this concept for a second, because reading through this stack of sources, I felt this overwhelming heaviness.
It's very intense.
The guides detail museums like Galerija 110795, which is this memorial gallery utilizing these powerful, distressing documentary archives to commemorate the Srebrenica genocide.
Right.
And then there is the Nermin Dadi sculpture in Veliki Park, which freezes a deeply painful, documented moment of a father calling out to his son during that same tragedy.
A heartbreaking piece of art.
Right. So if you are a resident and you have to step over a literal blood-red crater on your walk to get coffee, and then walk past museums dedicated to profound human suffering, doesn't that induce chronic trauma? I mean, how does a society function when its grief is permanently paved into the sidewalks?
That is the exact tension the city navigates every single day. But, it comes down to the function of memory. In Sarajevo, memory is not utilized as an anchor to drag the city into permanent victimhood. It's utilized as a compass.
A compass, okay.
Yeah. The sources specifically refer to this as the active process of dealing with the past. If you just pave over the mortar craters, you participate in the erasure of reality.
You pretend it didn't happen.
Exactly. By filling them with red resin, the city acknowledges the undeniable truth of what happened. It is a way of humanizing the history so that it can be processed collectively rather than just buried.
And that humanization is so vividly clear in another museum mentioned in the guides, the War Childhood Museum.
Oh, that one is incredibly powerful.
It stopped me in my tracks reading about it. It completely bypasses geopolitical timelines and troop movements. It focuses entirely on the experiences of kids who lived through the siege, told through their personal belongings.
It's so grounding.
Yeah, you're not looking at maps. You're looking at a makeshift toy or diary entry or a half-eaten chocolate wrapper that a kid saved for 4 years.
And that deliberate choice of perspective is just brilliant. By focusing on the artifacts of childhood, the museum bypasses the abstract statistics of conflict entirely.
It makes it real.
It forces universal empathy. You might not understand the complexities of a geopolitical siege, but you understand the profound tragedy of a child's interrupted youth. It fosters dialogue, allowing a post-conflict society to bridge cultural memory with future healing.
That makes total sense. And, if the Tunnel of Hope was the physical artery keeping the city's body alive by smuggling in flour, then what we're about to discuss was the psychological artery keeping its mind alive.
The film festival.
Yes. Because the ultimate proof that Sarajevo refused to be defined purely by its trauma is the sheer defiant creativity that exploded from it. We have to talk about the Sarajevo Film Festival.
The essay we read on the festival's origins is just an extraordinary testament to human resilience.
The context is everything here. So the Sarajevo Film Festival was born in October 1995. The city was still under siege.
Let that sink in.
Right, there was no regular electricity. The streets were intensely dangerous. And in the middle of that environment, a group of locals decided they were going to host an international film festival. They titled it Beyond the End of the World.
It's almost unbelievable.
How do you even practically execute that?
Well, it required tremendous audacity and, frankly, logistical miracles. I mean, the films literally had to be smuggled in. They relied on diesel generators to power the projectors.
Just to watch a movie.
Just to watch a movie. But the global arts community recognized the profound necessity of what they were doing. The legendary photographer Annie Leibovitz designed the festival poster.
Wow, really?
Yeah. 15 different countries sent films, and the citizens of Sarajevo risked their lives navigating dangerous intersections just to sit in the Bosnian Cultural Center and watch a film.
There is a detail from the sources that I absolutely love. There were no awards given out that first year.
That's right.
Because the organizers explicitly stated that simply by surviving, making the art, and showing up in that dark room, all people of Sarajevo were winners.
That is just incredible.
That proves that art is not a secondary luxury for when times are good. It's a vital survival mechanism.
Exactly. It provided a psychological escape, a reminder of the broader world out there, and an assertion of their own humanity. And what's fascinating is how that defiant seed has grown into a massive modern phenomenon.
It's huge now, right?
Oh, today, the Sarajevo Film Festival draws over 100,000 visitors. It is the most important film event in Southeast Europe, but they refuse to abandon their roots. In 2003, they famously discarded the traditional Hollywood red carpet and replaced it with the traditional 1930s Bosnian kilim, a beautifully intricate, locally woven carpet.
I love that, weaving their own heritage right into the glamour. But they also use the screen to confront the very things the city lived through, right?
Precisely. The festival features a dedicated program called Dealing with the Past. They screen documentaries and narratives that grapple with complex historical traumas, war, and post-conflict society.
It's that compass idea again.
Yes. Art, in this context, acts as an active stakeholder in social dialogue. It provides a communal space for new generations, many born long after the siege, to process transgenerational trauma.
And you see that same defiant artistic spirit thriving across the city. Like, the travel guides highlight spaces like the Broad Gallery, which is a contemporary art space housed inside a former Austro-Hungarian prison.
Talk about reclaiming a space.
Literally. They took a historical space of oppression and repurposed it for creative expression. There's also Galerija Java, championing local modern artists.
That refusal to merely survive, that demand to vividly, energetically live, is the exact same current that powers the city today. It's a seamless transition into the kinetic energy of Sarajevo's modern culture. You see it most clearly when the sun goes down.
Oh, the nightlife. Our guide source lays out the mechanics of the Sarajevo night, and it is entirely unique.
It really is not what you'd expect.
It is not a rushed affair. The night starts slow, rooted in the old town, the Başazida. It revolves around kafana culture. Now, for the listener, a kafana isn't a loud modern bar. It's an intimate, traditional coffee house, usually set in a stone courtyard.
Very relaxed.
Yeah, people gather to eat mezes, drink Bosnian coffee, and talk for hours. As the evening progresses, the coffee is replaced by alcohol. But the old town has strict noise curfews, so the kafanas wrap up around 1 a.m.
At which point, the entire rhythm and geography of the night just shifts.
The crowd moves west, right? Following the physical layout of the valley, moving out of the Ottoman center and into the Austro-Hungarian and modern Yugoslav districts around Tito Street and Skenderija.
Exactly.
This is where the 21st century pulse takes over. You have massive institutions like the Sloga Cultural Center hosting live bands. You have high-energy spaces like Silver and Smoke, which is a pulsating club bringing in international electronic DJs, staying open until 4 a.m. or later.
So different from the kafanas.
You can quite literally transition from sipping coffee in a 15th century Ottoman courtyard to dancing under lasers in an EDM club in the span of a 5-minute taxi ride.
And alongside that geographical evolution, there is a deep local pride in the beverages themselves.
The beer.
Yes. The sources detail a vibrant drinking culture anchored by Sarajevsko beer, which has been brewed continuously in the city since 1864. Its production barely stopped, even during the worst years of the siege.
Today, they even have a museum dedicated to the brewery. And building on that history is a booming modern craft beer scene. The guides mention numerous local gastropubs serving excellent Bosnian IPAs, stouts, pale ales.
But of course, no deep dive into the region's nightlife is complete without mentioning rakića.
Oh man, rakića.
Yes. Rakića is a potent traditional fruit brandy. It's most commonly made from plums, though it can be made from walnuts, cherries, or herbs.
It's strong stuff.
It is, but it's much more than a drink. It's a cultural lubricant. It's served as a gesture of welcome, a digestive, and a celebratory toast.